We have injury replacements and more up next on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5 on Monday, April 22nd. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Scott White, and let's talk injuries from the weekend. Triston Casas was placed on the IL with a left rib strain. When asked if he was concerned about a lengthy absence, manager Alex Cora responded, yes. If you're looking for replacements in shallower leagues, there's Ryan Mountcastle, Anthony Rizzo, and Nate Lowe. And in deeper leagues, perhaps Ryan O'Hearn is still out there. Scott, how would you be ranking those first base replacements?
Well, I'd have to go Ryan Mountcastle number 1, given the kind of start he's off to. And he's actually my number 1 sleeper hitter for this upcoming week. Just so happens Anthony Rizzo is my number 2 sleeper hitter for this upcoming week, though he's not off to such a good start. I still think there's hope for him after last season was wrecked by post-concussion syndrome. Obviously, great lineup context with where he's batting in the Yankees lineup. And I think this could be the week he gets going, hopefully. Third for me would be Nathaniel Lowe once he's back from injury. And Ryan O'Hearn has to be fourth. Good lineup context for him too, but he only plays against right-handers, really. And so that limits his fantasy appeal.
All right, Francisco Alvarez needs surgery to repair a torn UCL in his left thumb. He's expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks. And if you're looking for catcher replacements, there's Ryan Jeffers, Travis d'Arnaud, who had a 3-homer game on Friday. He had another home run on Saturday. And then Patrick Bailey, who had a 4-hit game with his second home run on Saturday as well. Scott, how would you rank Jeffers, d'Arnaud, and Patrick Bailey?
Look, they're all pretty interesting. It's hard to go against Travis d'Arnaud while Sean Murphy is out and he's getting the majority of the catcher at-bats in that Braves lineup. You have to think he's going to keep getting a good share of at-bats there with the kind of weekend he just had. So I'll go d'Arnaud number 1 for now. Ryan Jeffers has more rest of season appeal, but even Patrick Bailey's doing some interesting things. High average exit velocity. He's walking about twice as often as he did as a rookie. So he's not a bad choice either.
Let's talk about the Cubs bullpen. Cubs manager Craig Counsell indicated Sunday that Adbert Alzolay isn't currently the team's closer and that he'll treat the role as a day-to-day thing. Hector Neris and Mark Leiter are the most likely names to be in the mix. Neris actually picked up a save on Saturday in Game 2 of their doubleheader. Scott, how are you treating the Cubs bullpen right now?
I still think Adbert Alzolay is the Cubs reliever to roster, since they are saying it's just an opportunity to help him regain his confidence rather than an out-and-out demotion from the closer role. But that's kind of what the Rangers were saying about Jose Leclerc at first, and now it seems like Kirby Yates is just taking the job away from him. Hector Neris could do that. Potentially Mark Leiter could do that too. I was throwing in some of those 15-team roto leagues where saves are always scarce. I was throwing about 4% of my budget at Neris and a tiny percent at Leiter, just in case one of them ends up being the Cubs version of Kirby Yates. But I suspect by this time next week, it'll probably be back to Alzolay.
All right, let's wrap up with some deeper waiver wire pitchers here, Scott. Mitchell Parker, who pitches for the Nationals, looked great against the Astros on Sunday. He threw 7 shutout innings with 8 strikeouts in that one. And Jose Soriano of the Angels turned in a quality start at the Reds. It was 6 innings, 3 unearned runs with 7 strikeouts. Any interest in Soriano and or Mitchell Parker?
Yeah, actually, for as widely available as they are, especially Soriano. The secondary stuff is great. It's a lot like Edward Cabrera, actually, where if he could throw his fastball less, and he did in this latest one, and just let the secondaries play up, then I think he could be pretty effective. Good ground ball rate. The walks are going to be kind of high for Jose Soriano. But I think there's the potential for fantasy impact there, especially in leagues where you can take advantage of his relief pitcher eligibility. Mitchell Parker is more of a wild card, and he's never earned high marks as a prospect, but the strikeout totals were always high in the minors with some high ERAs as well. But because he has those high strikeout rates to point to as, okay, maybe this guy has some ability. And then Mitchell Parker here in this dominant start against the Astros, he upped his splitter usage considerably, threw it 25% of the time. It was responsible for 7 of his 12 whiffs. And that's compared to, he threw it 6% of the time in his first start, 7%. So he wasn't using 7% in the minors. He wasn't using that splitter that much, but he broke it out, used it a quarter of the time. It got great results. Maybe there's something there with Mitchell Parker. In those deeper leagues, I was throwing a couple bucks at him just in case. I wouldn't call myself an optimist about it, but I'm saying there's a chance.
For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the Odyssey app, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5, and we will be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye.